Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video we're gonna go over the size number sprite, which to use with the Missiles Sprite as well as the Player Sprite. So stick around for that. Alright, so we have the same code as before, just so we have this our ball moving from left to right over here. And it does this thing over here. So it's the same thing as this last video. The only thing I did over here is added this sprite over here of our player for when we deal with our player sprite. But for now, let's just deal with the missile. And to do that, let's just change this 4 to a 2. Since remember from the previous video, we are incrementing the HMP 2, where is it? Here it is, from 0 to missile, and equivalently the same thing to the repositioner, the missile. So change that for a 2 instead of 4, so you're adding 2. And the only other thing we're gonna do is, it says enable ball Missiles0. So if I run this in assemble, exists exact same output. So let's come over here, and if you want, let's add a color to it. I don't know, let's say 50 STX color luminosity player 0. Let me try 60. With this blue, I should have a chart over here instead of just randomly guessing. And there it is, 70. It is dark blue. It's good enough. And for now, let's make a little bit bigger. Big as this my sprite I have over here, my player sprite, and that's 15. So just let's do a repeat 15 and then repeat in. Let's subtract 15 from here, so that'll be 74, I think. So let's run, and that's our giant missile. And this is a weird thing going on over here. Let's cap this 227 just to make it seems run a little bit smoother. There it is. And you know what, let's, before, just to demonstrate, first, no, let's just stick with our number size register, which is right over here. It's for player 0 and missile 0. Equivalently the same for size number and size 0 1 for player and missile 1. So let's just change that. So let's load Y, because you're not using Y. I can use X. So load X, and let's 0 out over here, 0 0 0 0, and oops. And start X to number, size 0. And nothing's gonna happen, but let's go over our Stella menu over here. And we're doing actually the D4, D5 to D4. And this is gonna increase the size, which, if you remember from our playfield, we had the control playfield. We have D4, D4 and D5, and exact same thing is going on over here for number size. We are modifying the size of our missiles, and in the control playfield you have the ability to modify the ball size. So the exact same thing. And just to demonstrate, let's change this. So this is D4. See how it's a little bit bigger. So let's keep changing this just to demonstrate how it's getting bigger. And here is our giant missile running left to right. So that's exact same thing as we have with the ball. So just to demonstrate it really quick, let's change this really fast to ball back 4. So where is it? Store ball and the ball. So there it is. And let's just change this to control playfield. And it should be like, here it is, the exact same size. So it's the same thing, the missile and the ball registers that we've been using. We're using the D4 and the decimal 4 and 5 in order to manipulate the size. So that's how we manipulate the size from the missiles and the ball. So being over that. So back over here. Now let's delete this and let's get our sprite going over here. So let me delete this. Actually go back over here. Store that to the graphics player 0. And what I want to do is load A with player X. Just make sure X is load X with 0. Make sure it's 0. Then we're gonna start that in our graphics player 0. grp0. Oh, there it is. And then we're gonna increment X, and let's see what we got over here. A little bit fast. So let me take this out over here. And of course you want to set this to 0 because now we actually want player 0 and there it is, my sprite that I have over here. So let me cap this off one more time since I made a mistake over here. And 127. There it is, my weird sprite that I have over here. So now you see moving left to right. So now let's close this since we got it working. And we only want to modify this number inside 0 over here. So 0, 0. We don't need the missile anymore. As you can see, it's still the same. And let's go to our menu over here. So we're modifying the bytes 0, 1, and 2 in order to have this manipulate the sprite into different copies, as you see on the description over here. So everything zeroed out is still the same, as if nothing happened. But if you set 1 to your first byte, it creates 2 copies. See over here on display 0 to 0. So let's just do that. So here's a copy. Let's assemble and run. And as you see, there's 2 copies of my sprite going close. And as you can notice before, it hits on the edge over here, it goes back over here. So it's a little bit of a trick that's going on over here. But that's how the number size register actually works. So let's go over the rest of those so you can see what happens. So the next one is we have 2 copies close, and I have 2 copies medium, so that's the size, the distance. So to do that, 1, 0, as you see on the style manual. So as you see, there's a bigger gap between them, and that is moving. Now let's just remove this just move this end over here. So it still does a weird thing, but it still represents really well. Okay, so that was the close. Now I can have, so I have one copy close, medium, have 3 copies close, so that's 1 and 1. So here it is, 3 copies, really close, one to another. And the next one we have here is 2 copies really long, so 0, 0, it's really farther apart. So as you can see, it's really farther apart and so forth. Here you have double the size, which is the next one, which is 101. So let's do that. So now it's like we're increasing our missile, but now we're increasing our sprite. The next one down is 3 copies, medium. Let me 110. So that's medium size. So there's not really a wide size. And the last one is a bigger size of the model, just a big sprite over here. And here it is a big stretch out sprite that we have over here. And that's what this number size register does. As you see, you have 0 corresponds to player in Missile 0, and number size 1 corresponds to player in Missile 1. And if you, let me assemble over here, and where is escape? Let me just close this, which one's the, and open my, let's go over my quickly. Emulator, Atari, let's go to Stella 64. So open your Stella emulator, and over here I have Space Invaders, and that's pretty much what happens with this game. As you see, they're just making 3 copies, wide 3 copies of the same sprite, but it gives this feel of it has multiple sprites going on. That's one of the tricks they use to work with this game, this number size. And as well, what's the other one? Do I have it over here? I know I actually have the game. It's the well, the other game I have is Dig Dug. I don't know if I have. Oh, if you remember in Dig Dug, when you press your laser into the enemies, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, like they explode. That's one of the other uses for the number size. So pretty much you have a few uses for it. You can have multiples. It gives the illusion of having well, you do get multiples sprites, player sprites, but we can manipulate that in order to display more sprites into our display screen without actually using a lot of code, a lot of our space to run that. And that's pretty much gonna be it for this video. In the next video, I'm gonna go over the 2 kernel, and you're gonna see how we're gonna start thinking a little bit more in terms of how to code properly within a scanline, because up to now we not being much different from a higher programming language. You just type code and you're not being much aware of a memory size. But in this case, instead of memory size, we've got to be aware of the scanline. But that's for the next video. With all that said, thanks for watching. See you then.